Sumitra and Sharon, I'm going to tell you a story. I am Sir Peter Cargill, Director of the World Bank, on my first visit to Malaysia to call on the Minister of Finance, the Deputy Prime Minister, and then the Prime Minister himself. There are many advantages in being a visiting dignitary holding the purse strings to World Bank loans. For starters, on landing, I am ushered to the VIP lounge, usually reserved for heads of state. My passport and luggage are cleared for me. I'm chauffeured to a suite in the capital's leading hotel in a limousine with the government's crest of two roaring tigers on either side of a shield. I hope the tigers will protect rather than turn on me. Bevan, my officer in Malaysia, has accompanied me to the finance minister's parliamentary speech. He tells me that the finance minister was such a straight arrow during his undergraduate days that he regularly won the 100-yard dash, but was equally regularly disqualified for the 200-yard dash because the latter required athletes to curve around an oval track, but the future finance minister continued running straight. When I asked for a translation of certain words, I'm told that the finance minister had spoken entirely in English. True to his athletic past, his delivery rather resembled a speed train, syllables rushing past to form new and unexpected words. Constitution became conscience. Multilateralism became Mulston. A man who had no time to waste is an admirable reflection of the finance ministry's tight control of every aspect of the economy. The Deputy Prime Minister, Tun Abdul Razak, dressed austerely in a grey bush jacket, gives no quarter and fires a startling volley across my bow. With all due respect, the World Bank is far too slow. Even the turtles on our east coast move much faster. Our civil servants have supplied so much data to the World Bank that if it had been water instead of paper to Washington, we wouldn't have to wait for the Muda irrigation tram. Since the deputy has taken such a hard line with me, I have to prepare for the worst at my summit meeting the next morning with his boss, the Prime Minister. Bevan then tells me a story that allows me to take my measure of the man I will face tomorrow morning. On one occasion at Parliament, the opposition leader had thrown a challenge to the Prime Minister and the government's benches saying they were full of sinners. The opposition leader challenged any one of them to stand up if they had not sinned. The Prime Minister then said that he was standing up not because he had not sinned, but to speak on behalf of the ruling alliance party. He said that if the opposition leader had never sinned, he felt very sorry for him. There was applause, thunderous from the ruling alliance party, and even giggles from the opposition benches. When another opposition member proposed that adulterers should be stoned, the Prime Minister replied that there were not enough stones in Malaysia to fulfill that objective. So that is my task. Master fine detail while preparing to handle an astute verbal athlete. I arrive early, extra early, at the Prime Minister, Tunku Abdul Rahman's office, wearing my favorite tie, regimental, not old school. I hope to convey a military frame of mind, not one of pals and chums. A gentleman with a clipped moustache brushes past me. Who was that? I asked the Prime Minister's secretary. Our foreign minister, known for his short temper. I believe he wanted to confront our PM for publicly contradicting a major foreign policy statement that he had made. What would be the outcome of such an engagement of two heavyweights? I asked. No fire will come out in the meeting, the private secretary says. When I ask him why, he confides, our PM tells me ahead of time to inform the foreign minister that the PM had to leave in a great hurry for an urgent and sudden appointment. What if the foreign minister doesn't believe you and peeps inside? Our PM will hide under his desk. In case the foreign minister peeps in, he whispers with fingers over his lips. I shake the Prime Minister's hand and immediately launch into my findings before either of us even has a chance to sit down. Mr. Prime Minister, I tick off key points one by one with the fountain pen I hold in my hand for greater emphasis. The Prime Minister raises his hand suddenly. Is this a sign of surrender? Has my catalogue of facts brought down his resistance? I usually play golf in the morning. He smiles, removing the cigarette from under the sparse tracing of his moustache. Might I have misheard him? In order not to lose my advantage, I press on with greater vigor. Let me give you some examples, sir. The Prime Minister continues as if he had not heard me at all. Unless it rains in the morning, then I play golf in the evening. Am I hearing right? I can't believe it. He smiles at me. Reassured, I carry on my factual attack. When I pause, the Prime Minister responds at last. You have heard my deputy and my finance minister. Should I repeat what they've already told you? Do you take sugar with our Cameron Highlands tea? I don't. My people say I'm already too sweet. Actually, it's my diabetes. The Prime Minister raises his teacup. I watch the blue-black ink soaking into my white cotton trousers before my sterling silver fountain pen hits my thigh on its way from my hand to the floor. The meeting is clearly at an end. I'm left wondering precisely who can only run in straight lines. I need to see the finance minister again before I leave. Thank you. This is based on a true story.